can't even call your mom a
What's up, everybody? I'm Blessed and Free. Welcome back to another episode of DOC TV. So I hope everyone's having a good new year. We got an interview for you guys today. This guy's been to JIT camp. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a youthful offender prison before you go to adult prison in the state of Florida. And shit definitely gets crazy in those JIT camps. And he went to Bavard, which is a notorious JIT camp. So we're going to get into that today. Man, for the people that don't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself, tell them your name and where you're from.
What's up, man? My name is Jason McCullers. I'm from Big Pine Key, Florida. A lot of people don't know Big Pine Key. They assume it's Key West, so we'll just say the Key West area.
All right, man. Well, it's nice down there.
Yeah, it's great down there, man. It's pretty, it's a wild time, man.
All right, man. Well, I mean, tell the people a little bit about yourself. How did you grow up? What was your home life like? And then, what led you into first starting to getting arrested and then obviously going to JIT camp?
Man, dude, that's a fucking crazy story by itself, because it's like, when you're growing up in the Keys, man, it's a very, very adult environment, and you're constantly exposed to adult things, man, so growing up quick in the Keys, you learn, within your little clique. We had our own clique called the Piners. We were basically pretty good kids. We were just like a menace, Yeah,
I know all about that.
At like 12 years old. Being down there, it's a crazy environment to grow up in, man, because you're just exposed to so many things, but started getting in trouble. Probably I didn't get into a whole lot of trouble until about I was 15. But it's the same basic story of everybody else, man. The people you're hanging out with, the things that you're doing, the hustle, whatever your hustle is, a hustle has many faces, and it leads to a lot of different things. I was pretty deep into the whole entrepreneurism, if you would call it, and was pretty successful at that, at a teenager's age. And, the pretty girls and the fast drugs and the big cars and, things like that, things a normal kid wouldn't have at 16 years old, It went from, starting as a petty drug dealer and, learning from friends. And then you become really, really, really smart with the streets, man, really smart with the streets. And you start making that fast money. Eventually you end up getting popped.
It sneaks up on you pretty quick. So what was how long after 15 when you started getting into the game and doing your hustles and shit, was it that you caught that charge that sent you to prison?
Man, dude, the hustle started probably when I was about 13, man, because I grew up with around a lot of adults. A lot of my friends were bikers and and things like that. That led up to a lot of the stuff that got in trouble with. But by the time I was age 16, I initially caught a charge that, as funny as it may seem, I really had nothing to do with. I was innocent of this one thing, among all the things that I've ever done bad. This is the one thing that I really didn't have a lot to do with. I was trying to help out a friend, I guess you could say, and we had a real tight clique. A lot of our parents were in law enforcement. We kind of had the heads up on things that were going on and stuff. And a friend called me up real late at night, said, "Hey, me and my brother got kicked out. Can you please come pick us up from Marathon and take us to Big Pine Key?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" I wasn't doing anything anyway. A party that I was going through fell through, and I picked them up, and it turns out that they had robbed some house, and they had thrown all this shit in my trunk when they were packing all their stuff. And they didn't tell me all this until we were like halfway back to Big Pine Key. Eventually through their stupidity, they ended up getting wrapped up into it, and then I get wrapped up into it. And it was an automatic weapons, case from that point on. And later on, I had a few small little drug busts that finally sent me down the road.
All right, man. So, well, you said your parents were in law enforcement. So when you got arrested, man, and then eventually took your prison sentence, were your parents supporting you through that, or were they did they like kind of wipe their hands with you at that point?
Oh yeah. I was raised by a single father, and man, that guy, dude, best father. I put that man through some shit, man, and he wasn't just a police officer, dude. He was the major of law enforcement. I mean, he went fishing with George Bush and shit. So I was a real embarrassment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that man loved me, man, and he never ever turned his back on me, man. He supported me through the whole way. You know, I was very fortunate that I had, you know, some kind of comfort, you know, while I was in prison.
Yeah, because you know, when you don't have anybody when you're in there, it's really hard. And sounds like you had a good dad, man. So that's all the more reason to learn from your mistakes and you know, change your life. But when you got sentenced to prison, I'm sure you were in jail. You got sentenced, and you're young, so you know you're going to JIT camp at this point. And I'm sure you heard the horror stories in jail waiting to, you know, actually go there. What was going through your head, man, knowing like you're getting ready to go into a fucking battlefield?
Man, let me tell you, bro, it's stressful, man. It's really, you know, I knew because I was already sentenced as an adult, but luckily I was, you know, this was back in the 90s. So I fell under the Youthful Offender Act, and I had like a whole bunch of time taken off my sentence, you know, but I was still sentenced to the max as far as what I could be sentenced for, simply because I think they wanted to make an example of me because of my father, and, you know, and all the, you know, things that come along with that. First of all, when, you know, you're in county jail and you're waiting for your ride up the road, you're probably going to sit in county jail for a couple months. You know, I went ahead, you know, I had long hair even back then, so I just went ahead and shaved my head because it's going to come anyway. So they eventually come and pick you up, you know, and it's usually like at some godly hour at night, and they throw you in a van. They take you to the reception center. And it was funny because my friend, he had like a half a joint, and he had it hidden on him when they put us in the van. And the guy that was driving, we lit it on the freeway, so he couldn't stop, you know. So and he couldn't get to us, and, you know. So we smoked the shit, you know, on the way to the reception center. And he couldn't blame nobody because nobody was going to say shit, you know. So after that, you get to the reception center and you go through the whole routine. They make you strip butt naked, and you stand in the line. You throw all your property in front of you, you know. And this is all really like, this is building up to like the intensity of what I'm about to step into, you know. And that's going to be my home for a very long time.
So when that's going on, man, you know you're getting ready to walk into hell. For a person to say they weren't scared is kind of bullshit. Everybody has that fear of the unknown of what's about to happen. So how was that for you? Were you managing that, or were you kind of just like, fuck?
Man, there's really no saying the things that are going on, you know, in your head, because, you know, I had some commissary that I had snuck in through my dad. He put a carton of cigarettes before I went to prison in the county jail thing for me when I got out. But anyway, that was gonna follow me. But the whole scariness of it was, dude, it was mind blowing, bro. The whole fucking thing is the way you would see it in a movie. You're all in a line when you walk into the reception center, into your bay, because there's 3 different bays, and I was in the 3rd bay. And yeah, it's just like, you know, everybody's fucking going nuts. They're throwing shit at you, you know, they're whistling to you, the whole shit, right? And you know, you're carrying your blanket and your pillow, and you have no idea what to do. All I did was I didn't look at anybody. I never looked at anybody. I just focused on where I needed to go, and that's where I went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to go find my bunkie. I need to see what kind. You know, I need to evaluate what kind of level he's on. Can I trust this dude? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's going to be what? You know, it's real though, man.
There's a TOH obviously that is rampant in the JIT camps at this time. I mean, explain to the people a little bit about when you walked into your dorm and you met your bunkie. Like, how were the next couple days for you? And did you have any problems, or what did you see going on in there?
As far as problems, me personally, I kind of knew how to deal with people on that level. But the fear is still there because everybody is scared. It's a collective, nervous community of scared people. You know, it was always the thing with South Florida Reception Center. The gang situation there is off the hook, man, because you got all these things going on in a very crowded area, and it's always this bullshit going on with Broward and Dade. Well, that's the big gang thing as far as that point, you know. And not only 2 days I was there, you know, a riot breaks out when I'm talking to my dad on the phone, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I agree to? You know what I mean? What is this going to happen? You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. I hadn't even gotten through classification yet, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like already witnessing the most brutal outburst of violence possibly imaginable, you know? Man, dude.
In Florida, let's be real, man. White guys have it kind of rough, especially if you're not rocking with a gang. And so how was that at that point? When you were in prison, like, did anybody try to press you or like extort you, do anything like that when you were in there?
Not really, you know, because everybody gets tried, man. I mean, everybody gets tried, especially even if they're new, they're going to try the new people. But see, nobody really wants to, you know, nobody really tries somebody in that way because they know that they're temporary. They're going to be gone in 30, 45 days. They're going to be at their main camp. So they're not wilding out crazy right now. They want to wait till they get to their main camp. And then that's when you get approached by certain people. And I'll explain more about that as we go along. But
let's jump into that, man. So I heard when you get to Brevard back in the day, the officers, when you got off the bus, used to be like, hey, if you're not going to fight for your shit, go stand over there and you might as well check in because you're going to get tested when you walk in. Is that true or is that a rumor?
For the most part, it's pretty true, man. A lot of people don't even need to be. Yeah, a lot of people don't even need to be intimidated to go to PC. They just go. They don't even test the waters. Those kind of people. It's usually the kids that are in there for some wild shit, you know, and there are kids and stuff like that are in there for shit like that, you know, because it goes all the way from being whatever age to 24. You have a whole, you know, you got a mix of stuff there. But being approached, when I got to my main camp, I was fortunate enough to have a lot of knowledge as far as dealing with certain gang members, because I've dealt with gang members, but for many different reasons. It wasn't because I was being gang affiliated. It was because I was in business with some of these people. So what my thought was, okay, this is how I'm gonna fucking do it, man. My head, you know, we're walking through as soon as you get out from the main unit, you're walking in a straight line in front of the whole prison. All the inmates, when they know that the new inmates are coming around, they all wall up, you know what I mean, and watch the new people come in, and they're like sharks, bro. Fucking sharks, man. You know what I mean? They're looking for the one. You know, when I went in there, I said, you know, I was lucky to be blessed in with a certain gang affiliation. I'm not going to go into which gang and all that. It's not important. I had so much dealings with a lot of different sets of gangs throughout Florida. When I went in, I seen the sharks, you know what I mean? And you can see the white power people, you can see the Mexicans, you know, over here, you know, you got your black and whatnot, right? So going through there while all these people are whispering, the guards just kind of leave you there, you know? That's it. Dang. You're on the compound and it's your job. It's your job to make sure you get to your orientation housing unit, which all the windows are busted out. And I got there in winter and they make you sleep in boxers. No shit. They won't let you sleep in anything, and it's freezing, bro. And you got to go through at least a month or two of that shit. Back to the shark thing, when they started crowding around me, and I could see what was happening here. You know, they were wanting to see where I'm at. I just stood up, you know, and I held my head up as high as I could because I didn't know what was about to jump off, if anything. And I said, yo, you know, I'm right here. You know what I mean? GDN right here. So I'm throwing out birds. And as soon as I do that, white power walks away. Mexicans walk away because they're not interested in me anymore. They know that I got my people.
When you say GD, you're talking about the Gangster Disciples?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Because people watching may not know what that means. So that's why I was just clarifying for you guys.
Right. Yeah. Immediately after that, they had no interest in me. So now all eyes are on me by these birds that I sent. Okay, now they're looking at me like, all right, well, we need to see what's up with him, right? And for the grace of God, literally, the guy, bless him, his name was Marco Denson. He was running everything color blue in the prison. Now, everybody had their own little section. You know, the white power had their section, Mexicans had their sections and all that. Well, he happened to see me do that, right? And just, you know, and just totally bowed up in front of everybody and claim, you know, the people that I knew best. And he was so impressed by that, man. The very first day he put his wing on my shoulder, man, you know, and he was like 20, you know, and I was like suspicious of it because I don't trust no motherfucker so far. You know what I mean? That dude right there, that dude's a real motherfucker, bro. I mean, he basically made me his right-hand man just by having a conversation with me. You know what I'm saying? And we related.
So he kind of put you up under his wing and kind of put you on game. Was that because he saw you like actually standing up for yourself and saying like, yo, this is what it is, da 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 da?
Yeah, basically, because you got to keep in mind, there's two other white people or two other dudes in front of you that can't even hold their shit together, you know, because they're scared.
Yeah, shaking and shit.
and it's a scary place, bro, because there is no immediate help for you. Shit could end really quickly for you. You know, it's a good 30% chance that the police will get there on time, but that's about it. I think, you know, what it was that put him watching over me is he seen that I had a lot of pride, you know, and in a really weak circumstance with nobody.
And you said that he kind of put you up under his wing and you guys were kind of, you know, tight after that. Was it genuine from him, or was he doing that because he knew you got money? Like, was he finessing that, or was it just true?
Nah, man.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just, because I know sometimes that's how it works, man.
Yeah. Especially if you're a foot soldier, man. You're just a foot soldier.
So after you got to Brevard and you did your little like initiation and, you know, your homeboy put you up under the wing, and now you're kind of, you know, now you're held at a higher standard to some of the other inmates that are already there. So how long was it when you were at Brevard before you saw like your first violent shit that went down where you were like, man, this shit is real? Like, what was it for you?
Oh, man, from day one, bro. Violence only exists there. The only place that violence don't exist in a JIT camp is the chapel, maybe a visitation. No, man, there's constant shit. Everybody's hustling. Everybody's doing dirt. From the corrupt guards to the inmates dealing with the guards, to the female officers having sexual relationships with the inmates. It's non-stop. And the violence, people ain't got nothing to do but be violent.
Yeah, survival of the fittest.
Yeah, you know, and it, you know, but as far as like, did he take me under my wing because I had money or anything? This man didn't know anything about me. You know, we didn't talk about things like that. He wasn't interested in anything like that for me. The only thing that he wanted to know from me is the people that I knew when I was dealing with other sets, because he kind of wanted to verify he wanted to verify kind of like who I was, you know? Yeah, his friendship was very legit, man. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for him, I was about to get jumped by 2 Jamaicans. I've never seen these Jamaicans before. I was walking back to the dorm. These 2 guys approached me and they start talking this Jamaican bullshit. They're gonna beat me up, fucking whatever. And it just so happened, who walks by? Marco. So I'm whistling. Marco comes over here, right? You know, and I said, Marco, man, yo, man, these dudes want to say they're gonna do this, do that to me, right? Marco said, oh yeah, really? He didn't even say shit to him. He's like, so you wanna fuck with my friend? And
Bitch, your phone ain't even on yet. You know what I mean? Bitch, you can't even call your mom. Cry.